perfect world, we would have unlimited space and unlimited money. Well, that's not always the case, and when you can't have everything that you want, you have to make do with what you have. And that's exactly true when it comes to these Sega Saturn light gun games. There is no way that I could buy every single one of these arcade machines and put them in my game room. They simply take up so much space, but something that I love on the Sega Saturn is that they came out with so many great light gun games that you get to play at your own convenience. You don't have to waste those quarters, you don't have to waste that space, and you can continuously play and just get better at it. And one thing that I love about my Sega Saturn kiosk is that it gives me a great way to play all of these fantastic games. So let's go ahead and check them out. So up first, these two are going to be some of my all-time favorites, and I actually do own a Virtua Cop arcade machine. I have Virtua Cop 2. But this right here, Virtua Cop, this 1 to 2 player game, so much fun and just really a great time. Something about these light gun games make it so much fun to play. And this one is just so cheesy, but it looks great, it's smooth, it plays so well, and I love how, you know, things explode in this game. It's just so much fun, so chaotic, and just really a great time. Now you do have to look out for those hostages that you don't shoot, but that's how a lot of these games are. And obviously this was meant to take those quarters, so you do have to like memorize as you kind of go, and it's just so much fun. And then of course Virtua Cop 2, I do own the arcade machine, and I will say that it is a lot of fun playing on that, just because it like sounds so well and it just plays so much better. But this is a faster paced game, definitely more challenging, so much fun, and I love the chase scene of that. Just something about it, and I was so lucky to actually score that one super cheap, so I did get that one super inexpensive. But these are just classics to play. Every time that I play these, or someone joins me, we have so much fun with these. I feel like these are definitely like up there in top notch. They're not super crazy expensive, and it's something that everyone should give a try to, and just really dive deep in this whole light gun style games that they have on the Sega Saturn. Now this one is super expensive, and I'm so glad that I got it at the Southeast Game Exchange. This is the House of the Dead. Just really throws you back and gets you for these amazing horror vibes. This is a fantastic game, and it even says based on the monstrous arcade hit. Something about this game, playing it at the arcades, you know, those dark, dingy arcades, you're just really immersed into the gameplay. But this does have like some cheesy, over-the-top action in this game, and I really feel like on the Sega Saturn, it's really not the best, but it is so much fun. These games right here just are something that you can play endlessly. You know, the graphics really aren't the best, and it does feel like a rushed port, but I love the cheesiness of these games. You just shoot zombies. It's really like the most famous one that you're gonna play. It is difficult, but so much fun, and the end bosses get pretty tough. But something about this, I just like chuckle as I'm playing it, and just like the little scenes that you hear throughout this whole game, and just everything that goes on. But I really felt like they did an amazing job with this game. You know, just going through, having these crazy monsters, having these like little tiny things like jump from the ground. It just really gives it like that endless action. And it even says here, staggering graphic realism, rotting flesh actually rips apart with each round. Now that might be a little bit of like over exaggeration on what they actually tried to do, but overall this is so much fun. But for the price tag, I don't know if it's quite worth it, but it is quite the experience and a game that you have to play nonetheless. Now this one right here, I wouldn't say that this is the best game at all. This is Hard Trilogy. So you get 3 games in one. You get Die Hard, you get Die Hard 2, which is Die Harder, and Die Hard with a Vengeance. And only one of these games you get to play with the light gun. So that is definitely a bummer right off the bat, and it doesn't even like play the best either. This game is definitely so much better on the PlayStation 1, but I do like how you have 3 games in one. You know, as you're playing this light gun game, it's still a light gun game. So definitely not the most exciting, not something that I would really recommend on the Sega Saturn. So I would have to probably pass on this one, and I would much rather get it on the PS1. But overall, this is not my go-to when it comes to light gun games. It's just really not the same. This one I would have to say is probably one of my favorites though. This is Maximum Force. It says pull the trigger. So this one is actually a lot of fun. It has so much going on, and I absolutely love this arcade machine. So when I found this game on the Sega Saturn, I knew I had to score it. I just love it. You have these live action graphics, but they're fun. You have different mini games. You have power-ups in here. You have this whole like border around the screen, so that makes it pretty unique as this whole like arcade port. But this one just has like endless action, and it's just really a great time. It really adds to this whole experience, especially when I'm playing on the kiosk. It gives that arcade feel, and it plays extremely well. So this will always be one of my favorites as well to play. This is another one that I absolutely love. So I grew up playing the Area 51 arcade machines. It says #1 arcade hit. So how can you argue with that? But pretty much you have this whole like soldier, and then you have to penetrate these alien forces at Area 51. Eliminate the threat of these deadly alien infections as they spread throughout the base. So this is just so much fun. Definitely a blast, and I feel like it's one that you have these great live action graphics. Overall, definitely one of my favorites and definitely up there. But you do have these power-ups, you have hidden areas. The visuals look fantastic in this game, and it really makes a like true feel of these arcade games, especially these light gun games. So this is another one that I would have to recommend and I would have to pick, because this is a blast on the Sega Saturn. Now when I look at both of these games, I get pretty disappointed. So in hindsight, when you look at both of these, you don't really know until you know. But Corpse Killer, you would think that this would be a light gun game. Just a fantastic game. Just looking at it, it's the Graveyard Edition, but this is not a light gun game at all, so I was pretty disappointed to know that. But then we have Crypt Killer, and this one is very interesting on the Sega Saturn. It says real arcade shooting action. So Crypt Killer is one that's better than the PS1 version. It has like 6 worlds, 3 areas in each, but the boss battles are super hard. But I do like how this one is different than some of the other games, and it's a lot different than, the rest of these in the bunch. So it does give a little bit of variety when you're looking for different arcade games and different light gun games to play. But this one, definitely an interesting one, and one that I'll have to spend a little bit more time on because I've been really focused on some of these others. Now this is one that I feel like a lot of people don't really know about, and this is one that I played as a kid. So this right here is Scud, the Disposable Assassin. And this one looks like a very interesting and unique game, especially compared to the others. You don't have these like zombie looking horror vibe characters in here. And it says right here that this game rocks. So this one is really fun. I feel like you have this like very unique vibe with it. And it does have a lot going on because you have this like whole based on a comic book. You have 1 and 2 player light gun, 1 and 2 player run and gun. And you even have this like pumped up action. This music in here. It just gets you pumped up, and you really get to run around and just have a great time with this one. So I do really enjoy this one, and I feel like a lot of people still don't maybe know about it, and it is one of those like hidden gem games, especially if you don't know about this particular one. But since I grew up with it, it will always have a special place in my heart. Now there are a ton of games that we did not get over here in North America. There are so many light gun games out there, and I just love exploring so many of them. So there are still quite a few that I don't own, but I have played before, and there are some that I'm still working on getting a copy. So this one right here, this Police Nauts, this is a game that we did not get over in North America, but it does have a light gun section. So this is something that I had to jump on. My buddy over at Pipe Dreams Games, they actually made this full translation, and this is a really great one that they did so well. So I'm really excited to play that portion in here, and I really am excited because right here, just a point and click adventure game with a fantastic story. But there are, some light gun game actions. You have this whole like highway scene with the light gun, an incredible game, and the controller has to be in the first slot and the gun has to be in the second. But overall, Pipe Dreams Games, they really made this come to life, and I'm really excited to try this one, have this full-on translation, and have it, have a chance to play this one, really dive deep into it. And then, of course, there is this game called Chaos Control. We did not get that here, but you're pretty much shooting with a laser, and you have like 40 different paths. Overall, a fun game, and it does play different, because I do think that it does have like a Star Wars game style as you're playing it. And then up next we have Death Crimson, one of the worst games on the Sega Saturn, a Japanese only game, but it is definitely not the best, slow paced, low budget, low quality, inaccurate, and a bad game. So I'm really not too upset that we didn't get it over here. Then they also have Mechanical Violator. I'm not too sure how to pronounce some of these, other parts of these games, but this one, you're fighting these robot bosses. It is still playable, and you have like these shooting portions, the cutscenes, the story, this like Japanese movie style, and it is very story driven, so it's challenging to follow in Japanese. So that might be one that I could see if they have like some sort of translation so that I could play that one. And then Mighty Hits. So that's another one that has a bunch of mini games. It feels kind of slower, and it reminds me of Point Blank, but it's really just not it, and it doesn't do it justice. So that's another one that, a lot of people miss out on. And then even this other game, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it because it has so many words. It's like the longest name ever. And it has this whole light gun sequence because it is a virtual board game and it's like Japanese only. And then there is another game where they do have mini games, but it's like a dating sim. So that's another one that's just oddball where you could use the light gun in it. But overall, there are so many great games out there on the Sega Saturn and so many arcade ports. And then when you narrow it down to these light gun games, you have endless fun, especially how I have it set up in my game room with my Sega Saturn kiosk. I love it. I get that arcade action anytime, and I don't need to buy every single light gun game arcade machine. So it's really a great time, and I want to know, which games do you love? Which ones have you played? And do you always have to play any of these out in the arcades when you see them? Let me know in the comments down below, and of course, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead and check out all of my other videos and stay tuned for more.